Hello, everybody, wherever you may be, however you may be listening. Thanks for joining us today on the Gamers Side Quest podcast. I've got my co-host, as per usual. We've got Eric Balrose over here, and we've got Cody Hackattack. How are you guys doing today?
It's a Monday.
Monday it is.
That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. Long week, and it never starts out good.
It's not even a long week. It's like the same amount of time as every other week.
I don't know what it is, man. Mondays are just, they can either like set your week good or you're like, damn, the week's just going.
Yeah, I agree.
Sadly, our main topic that we wanted to talk about is also kind of a fucking downer, and it doesn't look like it's getting better either. But that'll be a fun one to talk about with just like the idea of what's going on in the gaming sphere, as well as, you know, where we stand on it.
It's a major issue in the world right now, and it's not going to go away for the next couple of years, probably.
It is at least a year to fix it.
I think it's longer than
That's
that.
what's crazy.
So you guys know those group projects where like one person shows up and their part's not done at all?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so me this time.
Oh,
that's fine.
So what we're talking about is the semiconductor shortage and the effects it's having on microprocessor compatibility or microprocessor production as well, and how that affects systems, PCs, cars, graphics cards, everything.
Yeah, everything.
All forms of technology are being affected.
Yeah, I can start off with kind of the synopsis that I know about it, because I mean, funny enough, me as somebody who has been thankful to have friends like Balrose and others, Frankenstein a PC for me, it is definitely holding as, what was it? You fucking talking shit?
You remembered?
I only offered to send you a CPU and a motherboard.
Every day.
Sorry, guys. I need to.
No,
I need a moment.
Every day that I'm able to stream, I'm thankful to you fuckers, because I wouldn't be doing as well as I am without you guys.
I know I hit my 12 months. I hit my 1 year sub mark on you this month.
I seen to that. Super nice. But
I might be your oldest sub.
I think you are. It's like either you or Benson, who I was streaming with at the time, who was like hawking it. Taylor was too slow on the get up, but it's fine.
You might be the oldest sub, but she's your favorite.
Oh yeah. But the thing is my computer is obviously coming on age, and I've been looking at stuff like GPUs. I swear to God.
No, it's unfortunate what's going on, because like I said, it's affecting everything, and I don't think people quite understand. Like, everyone's like, oh, it's just affecting gamers, they can't get their consoles and they can't get their graphics cards, but now it's affecting automakers, refrigerators,
everything,
like every form of your life, and the average person is now starting to be affected. Yeah,
technology is moving, and the demand has been consistently going up. And as you said, it's not just the gaming sphere. It's your cars. Car manufacturers are sitting on it, waiting for them to be able to produce boards to be able to run all the awesome tech that are in cars. As you said, like refrigerators, other appliances, shit like that. We are just hitting a standstill with the lack of silicon able to make these boards from. I think it's like TSMC, I think is what at least the main distributor of the boards are.
They're the largest. The crazy part is they're trying to open. They're already running over 100%. They're opening another plant, but it's not. Last time I read it, it's going to change.
A year.
It's not. It's not supposed to be up until 2022.
Yeah.
And then it'll take time for that to ramp up, because obviously there's time with getting machines and everything and the production and all that. And
you know what's the funny thing?
The demand is just doing this.
You know what's the funny thing with these things? What do these fucking things need to run? Fucking chips and shit that you need the fucking silicon in these things to even build. It's just such a vicious cycle of like, I need this to do this, and then if I have this, I can do this, but I need that to do that. It's like unreal.
For them, that's such a small part.
Yeah.
Honestly, I just wish I had a time machine and I'd go back and buy some TCM stock.
Oh yeah, that would
Like,
be based.
bought it in like January of 2019.
Exactly. But it's unreal, like the things that you do. I know me myself, like I'm saying, I've been looking at computer parts and stuff. A GPU is like anything, because
Pipe
if I'm
dream.
buying one, I want to buy one of the newer 30 series of like Nvidia, and I'd probably stick with Nvidia. I mean, they're good. They make good stuff, so I mean, clearly I'd want to stick with that. But the to just even find one, it's impossible. Everywhere's sold out. If you want to go on the secondary market, like at least double plus the value, stuff like that. I know people have hard times looking at CPUs or other processor type stuff as well.
Even
Everything is
motherboards.
just not, yeah, it's just crazy to think about. And then you can think about it in the terms of your consoles. PS5s are very hard to come by. Xbox Series consoles are also pretty hard. I don't know if many people are buying those ones, but I know at least for the PS5, I know a lot of people who are like, big content creators or at least big names on like YouTube's, Twitch, Twitter, stuff like that, who are like, damn, I wish I could just find one. Like even those people are unable to find it. And it's like, we're not gonna figure it out. I think Sony even had at a press briefing or something with like investors and stuff even said like, yeah, I don't know where we're gonna come up with this stuff.
I mean, it's a problem that's like, I'm starting to be under the mindset of like, a couple of years ago we had the NAND shortage, which made storage super difficult to get a hold of, which is like, your RAM and your SSDs. And now that we've gotten that somewhat under control, we now have a semiconductor problem. Which it's just
don't stop.
what's the next thing?
I mean, to be fair, like COVID happened.
I agree.
Oh yeah, it was the perfect storm. It was the perfect storm.
Like COVID's probably the reason that you have a shortage to begin with. The entire world was like, hey, work from home. And
sadly,
in response,
it's
every company out there bought out every vendor of their systems. Nobody predicted that.
Or turned in their orders and said, I only want 20% next year.
Yeah. It's
and now
kind
they
of
want
a both
120%.
I mean, like, it sucks to say, but really, like, Sony and Microsoft for their systems probably should have waited a year.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you already have everything finalized. Just come out and say, due to COVID, there's going to be a shortage. You can wait 6 months. You can wait a year. One of the two. Press the hype another 6 months and then do your release.
Yeah, there's that part of it where like, you add in kind of all the factors, like you said, the pandemic, everybody's staying at home. So like, oh, what are we going to do when we go home? Well, video games and movies are a great way to do it. Let's get these consoles. On the computer side, another big factor about this is the boom in cryptocurrency and mining for that. Because I was watching some guy on YouTube, I think his name is like J2 Cents, and he was talking about it, about how, when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, when you're producing a graphics card, when you're getting it into the hands of a gamer, unless that gamer is upgrading, it literally is just like, I buy one graphic, I'm done. I'm no longer in demand. I'm not one of your customer bases once I have that. On the flip side, now that we have this mining thing and these things are getting such great hash rates of producing crypto mining, that, when I am a crypto miner, I buy one graphics card, but if I buy another, I get more. So now I'm just, as soon as it's up, I'm buying, because every one that I buy is more money in my pocket. So that is becoming a thing that is also pretty rough to deal with.
Yeah.
I mean, mining's at the point where it's not efficient.
Well, it's only efficient right now on Ethereum because ant miners took Bitcoin out of the equation a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
I think it's like Ethereum and some other ones.
But even Ethereum is not very efficient anymore.
Yeah, but like the problem is that we've seen a huge spike in Ethereum over the course of 2020. It went from being hundreds of dollars to thousands of dollars.
Yep.
And so people are just hopping on Ethereum trying to get on it before it's the next Bitcoin. The problem I have with Ethereum, so much I buy crypto stuff. The issue I have with the Ethereum market is the fees, though. Like the amount of money it takes me to buy Ethereum and trade Ethereum, the fees are just monstrous compared to other forms of currency.
Yeah. I like see that, but it just so like my brother is somebody who is like it's sort of in the crypto space. Like he's kind of more on the low end of it, but yeah, it's pretty crazy just like seeing people talk about how avid they are. So when you see people like this and they get some sparks of stuff like, your Doge is popping, your Ethereum's popping, other cryptocurrency just kind of going up and everybody seeing the market go up. Like it's easy for people to be like, well, this is a space I can easily get into. Let me buy up what I can to make me a player in the game. And then
Bitcoin is down to $44,000 today.
The crypto has been crashing though. That's one thing that is
10
like
grand.
It's like good or bad, but
Ethereum's at 3,300.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Crypto is it's a space that I don't want to say I don't get, but it's a space that I'm always just like, damn, man, I just don't care. And the fact that it's like hurting a lot of other aspects, especially like gaming sphere, which is what I and most of us are a part of.
Yeah, I mean crypto's going to have a point where the bubble itself just bursts because it's not worth the energy you're putting into it.
Right.
I mean, that's like we've seen Bitcoin go up and down that roller coaster for years. Bitcoin probably just took a shit because Elon, his whole deal with Tesla not accepting it anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's all it's going to take for Bitcoin to like plummet is a couple more companies being like, nah, we don't want it.
Yeah.
Because you can't use a Bitcoin to go out and make regular purchases.
Yeah, you have to convert it to regular cash and then.
I mean, and like it sucks that like Ethereum has fees attached to it, but like cryptocurrency probably needs those fees attached to it because right now all the cryptocurrency mining like is horribly energy inefficient.
Yeah,
gosh, that's insane. I don't know if I can drag this over my window. Will it show it? Nope. The Drive did an article. I thought I saw this. There's a stockpile of unfinished Ford Super Duty pickups. Missing chips is now visible from space. It is. I'm literally looking at the picture. That's a lot of trucks.
Yeah,
like they filled the entire Kentucky Speedway.
Right, and that's what I'm saying is that you have a lot of shit backed up waiting for this. And there's no recovery. Like the thing is, we just got to make the chips, but we can't make the chips because we don't have the supplies to make the chips. And the fact that like I don't know how in depth you know about this, but I kind of know a little bit about it because I've taken classes talking about this. When you make your transistor chips with the silicon wafers, like you have a big old space and it's a big old round, and in there's like squares cut out. And in that, you have like an efficacy, I think is what the word is.
Yeah.
You have an efficacy rate of like what is good as a chip and what's not. So like even if you make a full chip, like there's like, potentially a couple percentage, a percent of it that's
like
not going to be usable.
I'm guessing.
I think that's what it is. It's like 4 or 5. It's not like big, but I mean like obviously you're losing out on some product.
I mean, when you do 100,000 chips, 4 or 5% is a lot.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think each wafer does a big portion of it as well. The thing is like it's in a circle. So everything that's like on the circle radius that isn't like a perfect square, that's all dead. And then inside what is you're expecting your good value, there's a portion of that
there's going to be a way to recycle that though.
I'm sure. I mean, it's what people have always referred to as the silicon lottery. In that we could all buy the exact same CPU and I might be over to overclock mine an extra gigahertz, and you guys might and Ryan might have to his may like just be full power is what it comes out of the box.
Yeah,
and that's why there's always been the rumor that certain developers or certain companies hold on to the really really good chips for themselves and send those out as press releases to people like Jay's 2 Cents and Linus and all those. To show like, look how great these numbers are.
This is the peak.
But the ones we get aren't that good.
Yeah. But you also get some of them
have
like,
to be.
Exactly. No, most people don't need all the power.
To be. Yeah.
I don't need my 12-core CPU.
I don't know. My computer, I don't know what mine is. If I like re-looked at mine, I always look this up. And then I'm always like, oh yeah.
I mean, it makes rendering really nice,
I
but
think it's
like,
I think yours is 4.
I think it's an i7.
yeah, it's probably like a 67 or something.
No, it's
3770.
it's like a 3770.
God damn it!
Yeah, this is.
I told you I'd send you my.
That's why I said 4 cores.
I told you I'd send you my 6700K.
Yeah, I'm not too. What I want is a graphics card, and like my ideal is I've like we're getting to the point. If I have to do it, I will overpay, but I'm doing everything I can to just not overpay for a fucking graphics card. But build and then work around that.
The problem you're going to run into though is CPU bottleneck. Like a 4-core processor is not going to give you the full advantages of a 3080. Like it's just not.
Well, no. What I'm saying is I buy the graphics card. Once I have that, then I know what pieces I buy to support that.
Like, I mean, yeah, he's going to run into a bottleneck, but for what he does, it's not going to be terrible.
No.
But I mean, like if he's trying to render videos, it will be bad. Like you're gonna need a more powerful processor.
Oh yeah, and that'll be the play. But
yeah,
like,
but that's not stuff he's trying to do live.
Yeah. But like for me, my ideal would be if I could buy a graphics card, whether it's like I've heard there's rumors of like a 3080 Ti type shit, which is like you're in between a 3080 and a 3090. Basically stuff that they tried to make 3090 didn't work, and they're just like, hey, it's better than 3080, so 3080 Ti type of thing.
It's a 3080 with what will probably be like a 10% performance increase.
Yeah.
20%.
Yeah. But if I could get something like that, then I'm like, okay, I've got this.
Yeah, you've got the expensive part out of the way.
Well, that's the thing. That's the most bottlenecky thing is like, or at least from what I've seen people talk about, I've talked with a few of you guys, and you guys are more experts. I could probably talk to you guys more offline about it type things. But, that's the thing that you build around, and what supports that graphics card is a way. And then your next step is your CPU, your processor, et cetera, stuff like that. And
hard drive, SSD.
From there. Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're gaming, that's what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you're going to do render media, though, like you have to get a high core count multi-threaded CPU to do any type of rendering.
Everything else you build around the processor.
Yeah,
exactly.
And you're
I think the big thing for like I've been using this computer, which has again been a godsend for me to be able to do anything. I couldn't do editing. I couldn't do making layouts and stuff. I couldn't be doing all the things that I try to do on Twitch without it, but it does have its limits where I try to do certain things. I'm like, this seems like cool. And then as soon as I like turn on the stream, my computer fucking tanks. Yeah. But if I had something that was more powerful, I could work around that. But like, I know like when I'm editing, it's the most painful thing because I'll sit there and I'll be like, let's play this. I'll play like a clip and it takes like 20 seconds before it actually starts playing. If I pause and rewind, it does that same thing. So it's such a pain in the ass to just try and look at video, which is what you guys are saying. There's like, it's so hard to take all this processing power and render out shit that I'm like, I ain't gonna get there.
Yeah. I don't know. The thing that frustrates me about it, like I want a 3080 as well, but at this point we're closing in on the year mark of it's being out. And it's that game you play, you're like, do I buy it or do I wait now?
Yeah.
Because you've essentially, now you're a year closer to them releasing the next one.
Exactly.
Do I just skip the third and the second and third generation?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm in the position where I may not have a choice. Because if I'm dealing with the secondhand market, I'd rather not. But if I have to, then you have to, bite your bullets where you can and decide on that.
I mean, like, the chances are you're probably going to have to deal with the secondary market one way or the other.
Yeah.
Like that's part of the reason that we're having the problem that we're having is that these companies do these releases and bots get 95% of them.
I mean, I'm in like 4 Discords with alerts, and by the time the alert comes through on Discord, it's sold out.
Yeah. But that's the thing that Eric's saying is like, the companies don't care. They made their money.
Yeah.
What do they care? That
they'll sit there and say, like, we want
to
get them in the hands of gamers. No, you want to get paid. Like that's
it doesn't matter to them. Whoever buys it, it doesn't matter because it's getting bought.
No, it'll only matter to them when it's found that someone used it for some unsavory means.
Yeah.
That's when the only time
And in the
cares
case
yourself.
of a GPU, what are you going to say about that?
Yeah, exactly. It had to be something ridiculous. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the recent ridiculous COVID hoax that's going around the internet right today? People are saying that if you got the COVID shot from Moderna, a quarter will stick to you.
Okay.
I want to point out to you that quarters aren't Ferris.
Unless.
But you know what is? You know what does? Do you know what does cause a quarter to stick to you? That's every day of everyone's life. Moisture.
Yeah.
It's called humidity.
It's just a matter of people. Like, it's the same thing as, like, you know, people taking anything that they see on the internet, running with it, and being like, I have to do X, Y, and Z to cover my ass. It's people being reactionary. And it, you know, same thing with your graphics card. The people being like, oh, cryptocurrency is our new thing. I'm going to buy them all because, like, I've got to get in my skin in the game. It's people, you know, jumping at opportunity, and B, believing and buying into anything that they see.
Do you think we've had a crypto bankruptcy yet? Like, do you think someone's filed bankruptcy and the cause is crypto losses?
Damn.
I mean, I'm asking, like, I wonder if someone's done it. Like, they've just sunk all their assets into it, and then they sunk it into the wrong one, and it just tanked, and then they had to go to file for bankruptcy.
There's probably people that sunk way too much money into Dogecoin and lost on it. Like,
I mean, the ones I'm involved in, I'm in some of the Reddits, and people own, like, the other day, one guy was like, I got $1 million into it. I'm like, you have $1 million and he shows his account, and $1 million invested in Bitcoin. You're just like, what?
I mean, to me, like, looking at cryptocurrency and the buying and trading, it's no different than most stocks.
Yeah.
I'm sure that somebody, when Bitcoin was at 55K, sunk their whole savings into it, and then it dropped to 45K today.
I know.
And you know what? They're probably, like, I mean, if you got the money to do it, you got the money to do it.
I mean, it's gambling at the end of the day.
It's gambling. That's what it is. You just
what stocks are,
know what you're getting into.
You can't lose the money. You shouldn't use it.
Yeah. Any money that you put in, be ready to lose. And that's what I've talked with my brother, who's been, you know, he was an early buyer into Doge. So anything that happens, he's plussed on.
I sold at a Doge last week. I think it got to its peak. I don't think it's going to go. My estimated guess,
I think it could, because, I mean, like, it just randomly springs up. But it's like, whenever it hits another peak, you've got to get the fucking out.
I think it's like GME. Like, if you look at GME right now, the only reason it's being held up is because people are still trying to short sale it. But that company, GameStop, is not worth almost $200 a share.
Are you telling me that you wouldn't go to GameStop and buy games?
No. Like, it was literally trading for $3 before all this stuff happened, and it's still being propped up. And it's the same with Dogecoin, is that people have this false sense of hope. Now, if our dads were talking about buying Doge and it was starting to be like the average person, I'd be like, we need to get into Doge.
Yeah.
But they're not. The only people talking about it are people like us.
Yeah. I mean, that's cryptocurrency in general. Like, the average person who's 10 years older than we are doesn't know it exists.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's going to take that one cryptocurrency where my mom can go buy groceries with it on her phone.
On her phone, yeah.
You know, like walk up and be like, I want to pay with this.
And I, like, until you get more than one government behind it, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's gonna.
That's the problem. That's the problem with cryptocurrency now, is that a government won't get behind it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, governments don't have an incentive to get behind it because it literally,
and there's no way to regulate it. So, like,
it threatens them completely because they are built on the old market of physical currency.
Yeah.
I mean, the United States does not want a digital currency to take its spot. Yeah.
I think a digital currency makes sense, but it just ain't happening is the issue.
I mean, it's kind of terrifying at the same time. Think about it.
Yeah, because it could just fall out whenever.
It could be just literally, it could just go away.
I mean, at some point, like, saying that the United States won't have a digital currency. Like at some point, the dollar bill is just going to be replaced by a digital version of itself.
No, I'm not saying that they won't have one. What I'm saying is they don't want one that they don't make.
Oh yeah,
Like the United States wants to make a digital currency. They don't want Bitcoin to be the digital currency.
I mean, I don't blame them.
Yeah, I mean they don't control it.
Yeah.
You can't just print more Bitcoin.
I don't blame any country out there who's like, wait a minute, no.
What was it? Something like I saw. I don't know if it's factual, but I saw something on the news. Like 12% of all the money we've ever printed has been printed in like the last 6 months or something.
Sheesh.
Something like some stupid number like that, and you're just like, what?
Yeah, something wild, which doesn't make any logical sense, but here we are.
All because of semiconductors.
Yep.
I can't get my Budweisers because of semiconductors.
It's just crazy,
like,
man.
Eventually the medical industry is going to be more impacted than they are now, and that's where you're going to start seeing
People get
not just our government, but other governments intervening and being like, "Sorry, gamers, you're not going to get your shit because hospital beds need to be made."
Yeah, pacemakers, perfect example. Dialysis machines.
I mean, but like you also need to look at like other companies who rely on semiconductors also probably need to look at like slowing down their manufacturing. Like if you have a speedway full of trucks visible from space and you're waiting on semiconductors, you probably really shouldn't be trying to make more trucks.
Well, this will be maybe a little controversial. Maybe if companies made stuff that lasted longer than 2 years, people wouldn't need to buy so many products. But that goes against business, right? Because if I sell you something one time, then I go out of business eventually. I need to keep selling you stuff over and over and over again. Like in my short adulthood, how many iPhones have I had? You know, whereas my parents had the same phone my entire childhood.
Yeah, I mean,
like I get it, but
to a point, yeah. To a point, yeah. I mean, like the difference between the iPhone X and the iPhone 12 Pro Max is very minimal at the end of the day. One has a 4K camera, one has a 1080p camera. That's the big difference.
But you get where
and
I'm going.
How many generations were in there? Like 4, 5?
Yeah, you get where I'm going with that. Is that think of all the products that people just throw away after a couple of years.
Yeah.
That have perfectly good semiconductors and microchips in them that are just now in landfills.
Well, I mean, because nobody wants to pay for the recycling. That's the worst part.
Yeah,
like,
it's so expensive.
There's no incentive to do it on any level.
We should just send it to space. We should just make a cloud around the Earth.
Oh, there's probably enough fucking semiconductors in space to solve part of our shortage.
I actually wrote a paper for school this last semester about space debris. Like, it was honestly a topic I had brought up, in the fact that there's so much stuff in space that if you like the graph, I wrote this 6 months ago. If you look at the graph, it is approaching the point where it's just going to go like this, and we're going to get to the point where there's so much debris in space that we start risking the loss of satellites and other things that are just going to get impacted by this stuff.
That's so upsetting.
Like, it essentially has a fallout.
Doesn't even describe it.
It has a fallout effect, you know? Like, you could essentially knock out one satellite that knocks out another, that knocks out... It is just like this repeated motion. And then how do you get the debris out of space? It'll take thousands of years for it to fall to Earth. We're really off topic, but...
I mean, like, it's very interesting. It's upsetting. I think that's the word I want to use. It's upsetting.
Yeah.
A, that we're at this point, and B, that like there's no sense of like we're coming back from it.
We have a lot of problems. Let's get rid of the plastic in the ocean.
Yeah. Save the turtles, bruh.
So, I mean, like, that's primarily because satellites generally operate in the lower atmosphere. And it's very difficult to control satellites in what's considered the middle atmosphere, right? Like, I know there's three separate layers.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on it. I just
I'm not.
like I said, I wrote a paper for I just it's not a community college, but a low college class.
Because Elon's having that problem with his internet, is that he can't get enough satellites in the air because he will cause that problem.
Yeah.
And they were asking, why can't you go up to the middle atmosphere? And he's like, control's too hard.
Here's an interesting thing.
You need to engineer that. You need to engineer that solution first.
Yeah.
Who owns the orbit of the Earth?
Me.
That was something else I wrote. There's not an owning organization. There's not someone who controls what is put into space. There's not like a global something that controls that. Like nations can just and companies can just launch. They have to kind of ask, hey, what's where, so I know I'm not going to hit something. But launch as much shit as they want.
There's the United States Space Force.
Yeah, but I don't think Russia is listening to the United States Space Force
Unless
at the moment. Maybe Israel and Palestine have a good system together.
Oh God,
Jesus!
Is that what they mean by the Iron Curtain? It's like the satellite debris around the Earth.
Yeah,
I mean, somebody like that's not a problem that will probably be solved in our lifetimes. But eventually that problem will become big enough that they will get the right minds in the same room to engineer a solution.
Eventually there'll be so much value floating around the Earth that they'll have to go up. Some company will be like, we'll go up and collect it if we get to keep it.
We'll get it.
We want all that gold that's floating around the Earth.
That might be it.
I mean, the reason that you have to use silicone is how much heat's generated, right? And that's the primary problem.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Is that it's like a heat thing?
I mean, gold is an awesome thermal, whatever it's called. But I know that's why it's used a lot.
I know what word you're trying to use. I just
thermal
can't
conductor.
It. Yes, thermal conductor.
But gold is expensive.
Yeah.
So I know you guys have some other
expensive.
I mean, because like cell phone carriers don't have the same problem right now. So there's got to be a slightly different material being used or something.
Well, I think most cell phones though, and I don't know how many satellites Verizon has, but most of it's radio towers. They don't.
I'm talking about just in this in semiconductor shortage.
Oh.
Like cell phones aren't running into the same amount of shortages.
I don't know if Samsung makes I don't know if they make something.
I know Apple makes their own.
Yeah. But I don't know if Samsung does.
And like, to be honest, that probably could be a reason why Apple moved to their own chip inside the MacBooks.
Yeah. I mean,
to be fair, like Apple could have been the company that 2 to 3 years ago was like, hey, do you guys see this problem? Let's address this next year.
Yeah, we have $1 trillion we could sink into this right now. Well, and it's funny because last week AMD's I forget her name, the head of the girl who's always dropping products.
Is it like the CEO or CAO or something?
I can't think of her name, but she was like, "Good news, we're gonna ramp up production on our graphics cards," and you're like, "That's great," but is it TCM or what? However you say their name.
TSMC, I think.
That's who makes AMD stuff. So if they're running at full capacity and they make NVIDIA stuff,
can't do shit.
Like, what are you talking about? How are you gonna up your production? There's no silicon to go around. I keep saying silicone. It's silicon.
Yeah. It's just a net loss around. Like there's no winning for losing, basically.
Yeah. If we were smart enough, we should develop a new way to make a processor. But we'd need to have big brains, and I have a smooth brain.
My brain too smooth. Too smooth 5 me. It's just rough, and it's really upsetting because like we said, it's everybody's getting affected by a problem that, like, if only we had a way that wasn't like terrible to try and alleviate this issue.
Well, in other news,
Well,
though,
what are you
in
gonna do?
gaming news, it sounds like you guys had some gaming fun this weekend.
We did. We did. I guess we can say, do we want to go spoiler warning on it? Or do we want to, because you said you didn't want to play.
I'm not going to
It's
play
been
it.
out for over a
Okay.
week.
I watched
That's
the
what I
videos
think.
on it. I watched the ending.
Cool. Okay. Cool. So I guess for anybody else, spoiler warnings on Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 8. Give y'all a second on that front.
I think it's Gale. Yeah, I think Gale's in here.
Gail played with us. Gail is friend. But yeah, I mean, that's more for your YouTube audience.
Fair point.
There you go.
Warning,
Okay,
warning, spoilers, warning.
Gen 1 alert. Alrighty. Well,
Wait!
so we play.
Some of you may ask, why the black shirt? That's so bad guys can't see my tears when I get mentioned in a podcast. Cody's got the right idea. He's crying right now.
I also wore a gray shirt, so
That
But
looks
it's not
black.
it's to hide my man boobs.
That looks black with white writing on it.
It does look black with white eye. White.
It
writing.
is very
Jesus.
much gray.
It does not look great.
Well, that's because I'm in a dark room, but oh, Gale's back. So set the scene for us. There you were.
So
Set the scene.
we load on up and we decide. Well, we had decided we were playing it this weekend. We wanted to get through it.
You haven't even said what you're playing yet.
I did. I said Resident Evil Village.
Mm.
I said spoiler warnings for that coming up, man.
My bad.
Yeah. But so we dabbled in Resident Evil Village. Our friends thankfully have a PS5, so we had probably the best experience that you could have playing the game. I think you could maybe have better playing on PC, maybe with decked out stuff. But we just had a conversation of how hard it is to come
$25,000
by.
computer.
Yeah, but very good experience. As somebody who's been introduced to the Resident Evil series a couple years ago with the first remake of, or with Biohazard, Resident Evil 7, I loved the game.
You loved Village?
Very, very. Yeah, it was great. The thing is, Resident Evil does a really, really good job of giving you a story and having a game that's very interesting in its own right. I'm not usually a scary game person, but Resident Evil slaps for sure.
Were you okay with the really weird transition out of the typical Resident Evil, like zombie-ish kind of gameplay?
So I've watched a couple videos, post-ops playing the game, and a lot of people said this harkened back to Resident Evil 4. It was more actiony. You had your horror in it, but it was pretty guns blazing off rip.
Which one did we play, Eric? Well, back in like 2009.
You're
2010.
thinking of 5.
Is that 5?
Yeah.
I think that's the
Where it takes place.
one.
It takes place in like Africa.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The progenitor virus.
I have a question from chat. Ryan, how many headshots did you get?
Let me tell you, man. If we were counting headshots, man, that number's low. If we were counting how well I outlined every fucking NPC's head that I try to shoot, fucking accurate, man.
Isn't that the point of the game?
They call me the Picasso of drawing the outlines of my enemies.
You're like Harry from Dumb and Dumber. Just
let me tell you, it was great because there was many times. I think one of the best points is we fought what I eventually found out was a bonus boss. We fucking bonus everybody. We were playing bonus at that point. Bonus lycanthrope thing. I think it's actually something different because it was actually like full on like wolf ass thing.
Crime scene photos and how they have a chalk outline.
Yeah.
If you imagine that with bullet holes and knife slashes, that's what Ryan was doing.
Okay.
Yeah, the knife too.
He wasn't trying to kill anybody.
Like,
he was just trying to set the scene.
Yeah, trying to get him Because she has knife hands, you want knife hands.
Oh yeah. But the thing was, we were fighting this like bonus boss, and we had what was one of the more powerful weapons in the game. And I have this weapon that has like pretty limited ammo. And I was like, all right, let's fight this guy. And they're like, don't waste all of our fucking ammo. And literally it's like 3 shots all around. I miss him completely. And they're like, just fucking die, dude. Get our ammo back.
Isn't that the frustrating thing about Resident Evil games, though, is like you have these like super bosses who need 100 bullets to die, and you have 3.
Yeah, but I kind of really enjoy the item. Or
you're saying the frustrating part about a resource management game is the resource managing?
Yeah. It's so frustrating.
But that's what I think. I think it's fun to have that. Like, for sure, I love that aspect.
It's
it's also infuriating as fuck.
I like Resident Evil games enough. Like, I don't think they're a bad... they're just not my type of game, but they're good games. But the funny thing about the game is you're like, let me go through this haunted mansion with a bunch of freaking super mutant things. Oh, look, a gun. Oh, look, the right ammo. Oh, and a knife. just in a drawer. In a nightstand.
Hey, this one had money.
Money.
Yeah, like, just money everywhere.
Like every time I get it's like it makes the game fun, and I'm just picking on it, but it's just funny because
I mean every horror game has that, because like if you don't have those things there, you legitimately can't continue.
Because like let's be honest, like how many people are like,
it's like going into Grand Theft Auto, killing 5 people and be like, oh, I got 2 stars, let me drive a quarter mile, my 2 stars are gone. Like that's what makes it a game.
Cops aren't looking for a Honda Civic now. I mean, it's just funny because when you think about it, like if you have guns and ammo in your house, you don't go like, let me see, I have a box of ammo here. I'm gonna take 3 bullets, hide them in the bathroom, 3 bullets in the kitchen, 2 bullets in the yard, and 1 bullet on my nightstand. And I'm gonna take the gun apart and I'm gonna string all the parts around my house so that I kidnap someone, they have to work their way through the puzzle. Yeah. It's just like such a ridiculous premise, but I get why it happens. I get it.
But it's I don't know, man. I just like, it's really good to suspend your mind and like get engrossed in like what the story of it is. Because they have so many things, like, I don't know if you've played a Resident Evil before, but there's a lot of things like the notes that are lying around that give you like extra context of like shit that's happening.
Hold on. That story in a game. Cody doesn't like story in his games.
I like story. Yeah. I like story. I just think it's weird.
Okay, so here's a great question. I'm going to give you 3 things because this is so good. So we've had a conversation. It was more in depth. It was like 9 things, but I'm going to give you 3 things. Gameplay, story, and graphics. Rank them.
Like, depends on what game it is.
This is just a hack specifically. You can answer it too.
It depends on what kind of game it is. Because
no, like just racing, in general,
like racing, I don't give a fuck about the story.
Right, but what I'm saying is your perfect game, your game that you would love to have.
I like open world. 3. I like open world a lot, so I would say it's probably graphics, story, gameplay. In that order.
That's not what I thought I would get from you. I thought I would get story last and gameplay second, but that's
no, because it depends. Like Grand Theft Auto is not a very, to be honest, it's not the prettiest game in the world. Can it be? But it has. It's a toss up between graphics and gameplay, but story is important because Grand Theft Auto would suck if it had no story.
I mean, Grand Theft Auto Online has no story.
Yeah, and it's not that good.
I mean. That's not what Twitch says.
It's kind of like Call of Duty, right? Like when Call of Duty.
If you go on to Grand Theft Auto Online right now on Twitch, you're not seeing the first 2 rows of people playing the story.
No, but they're making their own story. Like that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, they are doing some role playing, but they're also doing a lot of ridiculousness.
Yeah. It's kind of like Call of Duty, right? When they took the campaign away. This year was the first year I bought a Call of Duty game again because they brought the campaign back. You know what I mean? They had a story.
Fair. Yeah.
But like those years they didn't have a story, I didn't buy Call of Duty. Because I'm not in it just to play the game. Like I want to have a story as well. It depends. Like I said, I just don't get into I'm the unique one in this group, whereas I don't get as into RPGs as you guys do.
Yeah, and that's fair.
It's not that I dislike them. I just don't gravitate towards them.
And I understand that like mindset of being like, this is just not something I'm into. For me in general, I think it's super important to have me attached to the characters. And in an RPG where like you're doing a bunch of stuff like getting clothes, like the romantic relationships, or even just like building stats and stuff, it helps me at least mentally get engrossed in what the game is asking me to do. So that's where I'm like, yeah, I love this shit.
Yeah, because like
in my veins.
An example of like story games I really liked were, of course, like I liked the original Red Dead. That was a really good game. Skyrim, Fallout, like Fallout 3. Like I would go everywhere and just look for something more to get more story because it was so interesting.
Exactly.
Not Fallout 4 so much, but
I know 4 was nowhere near as good as 3. Like 3 was a unique beast in its own way.
3 was really good. And I know Eric really loves Dragon Age, and I've never really picked up Dragon Age, and I probably should give it a shot. But
I mean, like the thing is that like it's not RTS, but you can make it like RTS light. You don't get to build things, but you have those. It's like Warcraft without the building part of it.
Yeah.
Like if you like the micromanaging of the what are they? The little orcs. They have a name. Then you're not gonna like Dragon Age. But if you like controlling like Thrall and Arthas and those individual characters and having those individual powers, and like that's more suited for you.
Like I remember as a kid, like my friends all loved Final Fantasy, right? They all loved Final Fantasy. And I was the one person, the one type of gameplay I could never get behind was like JRPGs, other than Pokemon. Yeah. Well, Pokemon's more of a turn-based, isn't it? But you get what I mean. Like, I just never connected to those games. Like, there's exceptions. There's exceptions to the rule. It's just that most of the time, if I see that it's a mostly RPG game, it has to be really good, or my friends have to want to play it for me to play it.
You guys are the exception to the rule.
I know most people love RPGs, and that's
no. I was gonna say I don't like watching people on Twitch, but I'll watch both of you.
Oh,
see, I enjoy watching people in weird, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a kind of pervy, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, Resident Evil 8 was fine, but it's the 5th on my list. I've talked to a couple other people who are in that same boat, and I'm talking about just the numbered entries. Because Resident Evil has like 40 entries at this point.
Do you feel like the main, I don't know if she was the main villain, but the main draw of the villain was developed the way she was to draw in people?
I mean, that was why it was the main moniker villain. Like, again, spoilers at this point. You're done with her after the first like 2 hours.
But what I'm saying is, like, do you think like the way that she was designed in the game, like her body and everything, was designed the way it was to just be a draw? Because
I mean,
anatomically, she's ridiculous.
I mean, the thing is that like, it's like a scary movie, right? Like, if you have 5 villains in a scary movie, you're not going to focus on all 5 in your trailers or your conversation. Like, you want to have 2 or 3 of them hidden.
Yeah.
Especially when, like, so the initial trailer, and we did say spoilers like 4 times, so sorry, people. Yep. The initial trailer had Chris shown as a bad guy. Anybody who's played Resident Evil for 7 games knows that's not true.
Yeah. I think Gail's agreeing with me.
So, like, when you're looking at your scary movies that have multiple villains, your trailers are going to focus on 1 or 2. And those 1 or 2 that get focused on, they're going to be in the early part of the movie. Because you're right, like, that's what draws you in. Yeah. Now, like, was she specifically built to attract those people? That's up to Capcom to decide. I mean, like, Capcom had a hand in Bayonetta. Capcom has had a hand in every Devil May Cry. Like,
Yeah, it's just
Your
it's kind of
villains
like
being sexy. Is there anything wrong with that? No.
no, and I think it's kind of like the Metal Gear Solid 5 conversation, right? With what's her name? Oh, I had it on tip of my tongue. Now I can't think of it.
She's basically naked.
Yeah, she's naked like the entire game, and his thing is like, well, she breathes through her skin, so she can't wear clothes. That was Hideo Kojima's like answer to why she's in a bikini.
I mean, the thing is like when you're making mature games, you're allowed to have that freedom.
Yeah.
When you're making the next Pokemon E for everyone, okay. Misty probably should be one of your prominent characters.
Metal Gear Solid. I gotta remember it. Metal Gear Solid. Girl. I don't know what to write. What's the name of her? Quiet. Her name's Quiet. Figured it out. But yeah, it's just when I watched the trailer, I was just like, what is this 8-foot tall, massive chested woman doing?
To be fair, that's a huge reason why they did it. Like nobody else had done it. Like if you did a 5'5" vampire, nobody's gonna care.
Yeah. When did vampires go into Resident Evil?
In this one.
So
she's not a vampire, by the way.
Oh, she's not a vampire.
No.
She's like a fake vampire.
No. So it's like a 30-minute discussion.
Are her daughters vampires? Because like I said, I watched the videos where her daughters can like appear out of nowhere.
So we can go into this really quick. I can quick describe this really quick.
You remember Resident Evil 5?
Yeah.
Where there was like the virus that was implanted in people?
Yeah.
This is very similar. Like very similar concept. They just different abilities.
Yep.
They even tie. So the problem that most hardcore fans have is that the events in 1 through 3, even 1 through 5, and then 7 and 8 get tied into what's basically a 4-page document, and it's not 4 full pages. It's what you would write on a piece of paper, and it ties all the games together.
Double spaced.
Yeah.
28 size font.
And it works because like the reason that it works is because it kind of just skips over 6. And everybody knows that 6 is the worst entry in the series. Most fans didn't even finish it. Most fans turned it on and they were like, "No, fuck this. I didn't sign up for Call of Duty with Resident Evil."
See, the only reason I played 5 with you was because we played it together, but I remember being so frustrated with that game.
Yeah, because like
I remember the aiming system was just so infuriating.
It wasn't even that like Resident Evil 5 itself, the gameplay was ridiculous. But like, so Landman, you've never played 5.
No.
But you remember fighting Heisenberg and him making the joke about Boulder punching Chris?
Yeah, I seen that clip.
That happens in 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like even Capcom is willing to acknowledge their own jokes in games.
Yeah.
And to a point, their own mistakes. It's not that like 8 was bad. 8 was a great game. And if you liked 7, you'll like 8. That's the general consensus. Yeah. It's that 7 was the first entry to reintroduce that type of first-person horror genre. And its scale was so small because it's a mansion. It's a mansion, an outhouse. You're with the family. It's an intimate setting, and that's how most horror genres work very well. And
you said it's first person?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was third person.
And 8 takes that and puts you it's a village, so like a small city. And it's hard to have that like intimate horror when your landscape is so much bigger. Now, to be fair, Capcom recaptured a lot of that magic in the doll maker's house. They did. Like, that's the scariest part of the game. That's also the creepiest part of the game.
Yeah, dolls are creepy.
It's not dolls.
Well, I think they did it really well in every confined space minus the factory. Like, I think the castle was fantastic. I think the dollhouse, for how small and short it was probably the best part. I agree with you in terms of like getting a good feel of like dread and shit. I think the swamp area sucked ass. And I think the factory was so long, treacherous, and just like, I don't fucking care.
And the problem with the factory is that it's so late in the game.
Yeah.
Like, if the factory was, let's say, the first area, it gets a lot better of a reception.
Yeah.
Because it's the first area, so like they make you grind through the first area, the longest part, and then you sprint through the next 3. Whereas like you sprint through the first 3 and then you get to the factory and it's double the length.
Yeah.
And the frustrating part about the factory is that like you go all the way to the bottom, come all the way back up, and immediately go all the way back to the bottom.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then you get like the worst part about that is like you get all the way to the bottom, and in like 3 minutes of a cutscene, Chris fills you in on everything that's happened since you were quote unquote kidnapped.
Yeah.
And that's the worst part. Like nobody wants their story filled in that way. That story should have been breadcrumbed the entire fucking way.
It's not think?
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you think that Resident Evil in your rankings struggled because of the latter half?
No. I mean, like, my opinion is that 7's the best entry in the series, and there are plenty of people who are going to argue that 4 is, and I agree that 4 is also the best entry in the series. But like, I'm flipping a coin. I really enjoyed both of them. The original 3 for me have such a nostalgia factor because I played them as a kid, and I probably shouldn't have. So
the damn hellhound scared the hell out of me as a child.
Yeah, and like 8 is behind those.
I would have.
Those are all 9 pluses, and 8 is an 8.75, and then 5 is like a 6, and 6 is like a 2.
Yeah, I would probably rank 3 higher, in my opinion, if I played with y'all, because I've only played the remake, and I had a good time playing it on stream and stuff. But every time I've had a good experience with RE, it's been with you guys. Like 2, I fondly remember in my head as well. Playing that remake was a lot of fun. With the whole police building, getting through that, trying to get the hell out. I had a lot of fun with that one. I think I agree with you. Fucking Biohazard 7 was amazing. I mean, that's what got me being like, yo, this is cool. I can do scary if it's some shit like this.
Did you
say
did you guys play in a dark room?
I mean, as dark as you can for during the day when you have to let out 5 dogs at a time. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Do they have an OLED?
That's a dumb question.
It's a Sony. I had a nightmare about that baby. Fuck
because
that baby.
I've heard that OLEDs make horror games even better because the blacks are true blacks, and so it really emphasizes like the darkness of a room.
Yeah, I mean there is. I mean, there's a brightness scaling. There's an HDR scaling. So like. You're talking like the difference between 95 and 97% there. Yeah. Like if you're in a black room by yourself, you'll probably notice it. When there's like 7 other people in our case and 5 dogs, like you're not going to notice the difference between the two.
Yeah, I think it's horror games have always been like, if you want me to rank my least favorite games, horror games are right at the top of that list. Just like horror movies,
of
like
least favorite.
Yeah,
horror games are great group games. They are.
That's what I meant.
They're the singular best group game there is.
I'm just not interested in being scared.
I'll tell you this: like when we were playing 8, like there's nothing that made me scared, but there's plenty that scared other people in the room, and I always get more enjoyment out of watching the game being played.
Watching Ryan squeal.
Well, I'm not
to shoot the broadside of a fucking barn.
I'm not good with backseat gamers, so it doesn't make any sense for me to play in front of 6 of them.
Yeah.
Like when there's 6 people who are like, do this, do that, I'm like, well, you shut them.
Yeah,
I know. I've sat on the couch.
Well, it's funny because
sit there.
It's funny because I think we all had experiences while playing where we got frustrated with it. It was visible, but again, it's fun having that experience of like getting scared or seeing somebody accomplish some cool shit. Like that's why I think it's a series that I love, but I would not like to play my first experience without everybody there.
What did you guys eat?
So we were gonna get wings, but it was too cumbersome to play and eat wings at the same time while passing the controller around
not
and
a
shit.
good wing food. Wings aren't a good food for that.
Yeah. So Alec and Gail, they got pizza. Me and Taylor ordered Potbelly because I was just like, I was gonna cheat that day, but I was like, I'll just eat a Potbelly sandwich throughout the day and be solid on that. What did you eat, Eric? Just snacks.
I had beef jerky and protein food. My cheating was the beer.
Man food.
I
miss Potbelly. I haven't had Potbelly in 2 years.
It's very good. I mean, like for a sandwich place, it is what it is.
I don't think it's as good as Jersey Mike's, but
probably not. But I fondly like it because I like the hot peppers and then like the oil and shit. I'm always like, damn, Potbelly slaps.
It's a different kind of sandwich.
Yeah.
Like they probably make the best hot sandwich.
Probably, yeah. I was trying to think if any of them do it better. Because it's Subway definitely not Subway. No fucking shit.
Jersey Mike will make you a hot sandwich, but it's just a cheesesteak.
No, you know what's probably better? And I hate to say it. Penn Station probably is better than Potbelly.
I forgot about Penn Station. They'd make a good sandwich too.
Oh, that sucks so bad because I love Potbelly, but Penn Station probably makes a better hot sandwich.
We don't have Penn Stations here.
Really? That's an interesting one.
You know what's surprising here, though? They have one Jersey Mike's, one Quiznos, and the Subways here are like full-size Subways.
Quiznos?
Yeah. We have like full-size Subways. Like not, you know how like all the Subways where you live are in shopping malls?
Yeah. We have a few that are like in their own place, but they're like on not a mall, but a strip.
Yeah, but like ours are like...
There's a couple that have their own building.
Ours are like drive-thrus.
Yeah, we have a couple like that.
That's crazy.
Like, I'm like, but that's how they all are. Like, I haven't seen a single Subway that's in a strip mall. Like, they're all full-on restaurants where you can go sit down and have a sandwich.
Yeah.
Weird concept. I think Jersey Mike's makes the best sandwich. That's just me.
I haven't had Jersey Mike's in a minute. I need to.
So good. So good. So fresh. Like, what the fuck?
Fresh and so clean.
I miss what the fuck. You know, Eric's not a fan of what the fuck. I was a big fan of what the fuck.
So funny.
Just like I was a big fan of Basil's.
Dude, Basil's.
Basil's problem is it's too fucking expensive.
Like that lobster mac and cheese. Oh boy.
Like there have been times where like they opened up a second one that's closer and I've wanted to go and then I look at it and I'm like $25 for lobster mac and cheese.
That's so good.
I'm like,
if you guys could convince those people to give me the recipe, I would be forever grateful.
And like even when you go to like when you go to order it for pickup, they're like, that'll be an hour 15. I'm like, I was hungry 20 minutes ago.
Oh, did I tell you what happened with wings the other day?
With wings, like just wings in general?
Yeah, I was at work late. I had to work till like 8 one night, and I was like, it's Thursday. It's wing Thursday at B-Dubs. It's boneless, but still, you get twice. You get buy one get one free essentially. So if you buy 6, you get 6 free. So I was like, oh, I'll put some wings in. It's 8 o'clock at night. They've probably slowed down. I go to put my order in on my phone. I'm in my parking lot of my work, and I get to the end. Like I get to the very end screen, and it's like, when will it be ready? It was gonna be ready an hour and 45 minutes later.
What?
And I was like, what? Nope.
Yeah, no thank you.
That's like for boneless wings? Hour and 45 minutes? Are you kidding me?
That's so funny because me and Taylor yesterday, because we didn't cheat day on Resident Evil Day, we did yesterday, and I got B-Dubs for the first time ever. I've done this before when I
like ever.
No. Since dieting is more so what I meant, but like in a long time. But since I've been dieting, I usually hit this point and I realize like when I have like the cheat day and I eat something that I used to eat and like I don't eat at all type of stuff. Or like, because I remember I would used to get B-Dubs and I would get like a medium order of wings. I would get wedges, and then me and Taylor would split cheese curds.
Oh yeah.
And I would eat all that and I'd be like, damn, hell yeah. But all I got was medium wings and some wedges. I ate all my wedges and I ate like 8 of the wings and I was like, I'm good.
No,
And
it's
it's
Well,
surprising.
and once you
nice
get
to, like,
once you
get
get
that
away
feeling
from
again.
heavily processed food, you start to realize like when you have it, even eating it, you're like, this isn't as good as I remember it being.
Exactly. But that's like a great feeling to have. And if I'm going to do that, then like sick.
Well, and the funny thing is, like B-Dubs, there's not a single thing on their menu I think they actually cook. It's all just frozen food.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
how all of those places are.
Applebee's, chili, all that stuff's frozen.
You can't transport fresh food like that.
Like it's
No.
funny. Like if people think Cheesecake Factory's back there making that gigantic menu they have, they're sadly mistaken.
You are a fool.
Like you don't have 100 menu items and have a chef back there, but like, oh, someone ordered the mac and cheese. Let me
The mac
boil
and
some
cheese
noodles.
quality choice.
Like it's like when you go to Taco Bell and look how unhealthy that shit is. Like you can make healthy tacos.
Oh yeah.
It's
And the
not
funny
hard.
thing, it's funny how the brain works though, because I know I could come home, make better tacos that will taste better, but it's just like I don't know where
Do
it
I
is.
want to? And then you don't, and then you're like, okay, well,
Or
Taco
I could go
Bell.
buy a taco for $1
Yeah,
because it costs me more than $1 to make it.
exactly.
That's not what goes through my head, but it's just funny how I'm like, I could go home and make a better burger every single time, but I'll go pay someone to make it for me.
Yeah, I've had.
Well, you gotta
that,
win that battle at the grocery store.
Fair.
Like if you buy taco shit at the grocery store and all you have to do is brown the meat, like that's a lot less than I have to go to the grocery store or buy tortillas, cheese, lettuce, salsa, the ground beef. Then I gotta drive back home and do that.
So, can I set the scene for you? I had a food accomplishment this weekend. I want to share with you guys.
Okay.
We're getting off topic of gaming, but this is an important
Yeah, we're
thing.
just vibing now because I mean, like Resident Evil is good. If that's what you want for the TLDR, Resident Evil is really good. I liked it. Eric liked it. It's not one of his top ever, but it was good. And Hack's not playing the fucking game, so
I watched the YouTube.
I may speed run it. It was cool, but yeah. But
as me and Eric are resident steak lovers.
okay.
What about you, Ryan? I don't know if you like steak.
Oh, I love steak.
Okay, the three meat lovers in this conversation.
Did you say mistake?
So,
I am a mistake.
my birthday was this last week, right? So
Yeah.
my wife was kind enough to go to Whole Foods and buy me some nice ribeyes because they have good meat at Whole Foods, right? You pay top dollar for them, but they're very good. And so I was like, I'll wait for the weekend to cook them. She bought them on Thursday, so I waited till Saturday to cook them, which is fine. They're still very fresh. And I was like, I have this new smoker. Let me look up what's it like to smoke a steak. And so I looked it up. So I looked it up, and you smoke it to an internal temperature of 120, and then you put it on a grill or a cast iron to get the sear marks. So you're
sear the hell out of it.
You're essentially reverse searing it. When I tell you, this steak was so goddamn good. Like,
really?
No
I'm
effort on my
now.
part. No effort. Like, since I have a pellet smoker, I literally put the probe in because the ribeyes are they're like this thick. They were like they were a thick boy, right? So I was able to put a meat probe right down the center of it, right to the center. I got those things perfectly to 120, turned on my grill, literally transferred them over there, and then sat there and watched until they got to about 130, 135, because that's your medium rare. Pulled them off, let them rest for 10 minutes. No sauce, which I don't usually use sauce anyway, but no sauce, super tender, not dry at all, because because the way the smoker works, it's such a slow cooking process that the moisture doesn't leave the meat, and then you sear it really quick to get the sear and to get that flavor. I tell you, man, Courtney says it was probably her favorite way she's ever eaten a steak.
Nice.
I mean, how long was it?
Hey, that's fucking great.
Like 35 minutes. Because the smoker is at 225 degrees when you do it.
So, and then you put it on the grill for
Like 3 minutes. 3-4 minutes just to get it up that next 10 degrees.
Yeah, so you're at like a 50-minute process there.
Yeah. But like I said, the beautiful thing about the smoker is I set it, I just walk away. Because there's an app on my phone that tells me when the meat gets to the temperature I want.
Like when you do a reverse sear in a convection oven or I mean, some people have done them in an air fryer. Yeah, it's the same process. You set it, forget it.
Or sous vide.
I mean, like, I have not had a groundbreaking experience with reverse searing.
Really?
Yeah, I think what set it over the top was
It
the
is
smoke
better,
flavor.
but like you're also supposed to dry it out the night before.
With salt and everything, yeah.
Yeah, and when you tell me that like I have to prepare it the night before, then I have to take an extra amount of time to do that, I'm like, no.
See, I didn't do any of that. I literally took them out of the package 30 minutes before I wanted to cook them, put my seasoning on liberally because I'm going to smoke, so you got to put a little extra seasoning on, and they're a thick cut of meat. Let them get like 30 minutes on the counter with the seasoning on it. Fired up. That was the whole time I heated up the smoker. That's all I did. I just threw them on.
Yeah, and I don't have a yard or a patio, so like if I had that, I would probably have a smoker.
If you come to visit me, I'll cook you one.
I've had it smoked, and I think it's great, but I don't. For me, it's just not like years ahead. But I've gotten to a point with my just pan searing that I've like, you know, once you do it for a couple of years, you have the science that you like down.
Oh yeah, like of course, like I like my steak different than you like your steak.
I don't have steak that often because when I have that steak, there's a lot of butter that comes with that steak.
Oh yeah, Ryan likes his steak well done, so he's not even in the conversation.
No, I fucking don't, dude. Why would you kill a fucking animal like that?
Killing it twice. My mother-in-law likes her steaks well done.
Sorry. So does my father.
It's difficult. It's difficult when they're like, "Let's have steaks," and I'm like, I have to essentially ruin this piece of meat.
No, yeah, I mean, it's very hard to have that conversation with your family that like you're fucked up.
I don't love you anymore.
You did this.
I don't love you anymore.
Love you.
Sitting out there taking her steak out there 30 minutes before I gotta cook mine to like let it burn.
Yeah, exactly.
I like the speaking of steaks, I really like the way Gordon Ramsay, I like his way of cooking where you flip it every minute. That makes a good steak.
Oh, do you? I'm usually a set and do not touch. Do not touch.
Now
until
the only way you can do the flip every minute is if you're cooking in cast iron on your stove. Like not on a grill. If it's a grill, I leave it. But
okay.
The way he does it is you use it's butter pretty much, and you flip, and then while it's flipping, you're basting. So you're essentially cooking both sides.
Yeah, you have to do it that way.
Yeah, it does make a very good steak.
Yeah.
Because what he also does is he just takes the garlic out of the cloves and crushes them and just throws everything in. Like same thing.
Yeah, it's like the
rosemary.
cloves
he doesn't try to get all the cloves off the rosemary. He just throws it straight in.
Yeah, no.
Like he wants all that flavoring.
I don't have rosemary around my house.
Yeah, I don't.
I wish.
So I just dump it on.
That's the part I don't have. But like every time I get steak, I get a new clove of garlic. Because that sucker's just getting cut open and then smashed and thrown in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I really like.
I have one, but
Courtney buys the little jar of minced garlic all the time because we use garlic. Yes,
I know what you're talking about.
We use that because it's just easier.
Yeah, the problem with that is that like, unless you keep enough butter in the pan, that shit will burn pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't want the minced part of it on the steak itself. You want the flavoring of garlic, but you don't want the actual pieces.
I want it to be in the same neighborhood. It's not in the same house.
Yeah. And it's hard to not have pieces on it when you're trying to baste the butter.
Okay, here's another question about steak. Since we're talking about food now, we should change the name of this to Food Podcast. What's the perfect pairing?
Yeah.
What's the perfect pairing for your steak? Because I know what mine is.
Like side?
2 things. Yeah, what's your sides that you have to have with steak? Everyone's a little different.
Loaded. That's a loaded question.
Are you saying yours is loaded baked potato?
No.
Do you know what yours are, Eric?
That you have to have?
Like, if you're going to have a steak, if you had a steak and you're like, these are the 2 sides I want with this steak. Maybe it's one for you.
I mean, roasted broccoli is going to be one.
Okay. So green.
Yeah,
I was gonna say
like
broccoli or asparagus.
Yeah, I just don't like asparagus, so it's broccoli for me.
Yeah,
and I prefer like, so what I do is while my meat's resting, the broccoli goes in the same pan.
Oh, to get that flavor.
Yeah, and like it's a frozen bag to start with, but like as I'm cooking the meat, the bag comes out, so it gets 10 minutes of defrosting. So
Yeah.
it's not completely frozen. And then like you throw it in the pan to get that flavoring, because at that point you don't need to throw in any more olive oil or butter. Like everything's there. And then
Yeah.
you just throw some salt, some pepper, if you got garlic powder or something like that. I mean, like it's like you need a carb. The carb's just gonna depend.
Like, are you a French fry man, mashed potatoes man?
If
Like,
you can make really crispy fries, sure.
yeah,
like mush
the fries
fries,
have to be crispy.
Yeah, you don't like a steak fry?
Steak fries fine, but what I imagine is like, you know, you get like a decently thick one, but with a good fucking crispy exterior type shit.
Like, yeah, I mean, like that's what I hate about most places now is that like you go to get a fry and you bite into it and you're like, this is mush.
Yeah.
I want to hear the crunch.
I like a softer fry.
Really?
One. I also really like soft bacon. I do not want my bacon crispy.
No shot, dude. All right,
do not
goodbye.
want it crispy. I do not want it crispy.
Out of here.
He's left.
Out of this.
Like, I know I'm weird.
Show.
Like I know I'm weird, but I'd rather have a burger with like kind of.
You said it, not me.
You like a Red Robin burger.
Yeah, I like a burger with like
that
bacon that's
bacon
kind
is
of
weak.
Yeah, I like the soft, like not fully cooked bacon. I don't want it crispy.
That's the only reason I don't make burgers at home is because like you like bacon's only good if you buy it by the pound, and I just won't go through a pound of bacon quickly.
Yeah. What's your sides on your steak, Ryan? Asparagus and fries?
Like I said, it's like either asparagus or broccoli is really, really good. And then if and when I do carbs, the mashed potato is the one that hits me that I always get. Have you ever made like a pan sauce with your fucking
Wait, yeah.
steak?
Are you talking like we're going to a restaurant or am I making this shit myself? Because that's two different answers.
Going to a restaurant.
Yeah.
Like you're going to get a steak.
So if I'm going to a restaurant and they have good mashed potatoes, it's mashed potatoes.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
But I've been to plenty of restaurants that are like, yeah, we got good mashed potatoes, and I'm expecting some like southern fucking buttery mashed potatoes, and it's not good mashed potatoes. It's some fucking powdered shit.
They're like, you want us to add cheese, bacon, and sour cream to it to make it edible?
Like most restaurants, I'll do a loaded baked potato. But if I'm going to a restaurant for a steak, it's just gonna be unhealthy. No way.
Yeah, if I'm at home, me and Courtney will always pretty much do green beans with steak as well as a carb like fries. At home, we're always probably having fries with it with a green bean. Yeah, because I think it's important to have a vegetable.
Yeah, because like you already know what fry you want. You go to the store, you pick up the $2 bag of fries, and you're like, I'm gonna throw this fucker in the oven and call it a day, or an air fryer.
Air fryer. But at a restaurant, mine would be steak, probably New York strip. That's my favorite cut. Ribeye is close second. Then probably filet. Then definitely green beans because I like green beans because I don't like a lot of vegetables. So I don't like asparagus. I don't like what's the other one? Broccoli. I like green beans. So that's my vegetable, and then almost always it's going to be a form of mashed potatoes or baked potato, depending on which one is better. But at a restaurant. Because a baked potato can be so good if done right.
If done right, yeah.
But most of the time it's not done right.
How do you order your steak when you go to a restaurant?
Usually medium rare.
Okay.
Because it'll probably come out medium. And I'd rather have a medium steak than a medium well steak.
No shot, dude.
I'm saying like I would rather.
You're like the opposite of me.
I want it closer to rare.
That's what I'm saying. I order a rare because most of the times those motherfuckers are just gonna make a medium rare from rare, and I don't want my shit overcooked at all. And if I get it rare, I'm still happy.
Yeah, rare is my wife is like she wants a rare steak. I don't necessarily want a rare steak. I want a medium rare steak.
Yeah.
And so I tend to just order medium rare because I'm like, they'll make it a medium. Yeah. I can live with that.
I cannot live with medium. And you know what's crazy? I realized when I started going to places and ordering food myself, like when my parents would make steak when I was a kid, and I was like, this shit sucks.
Yeah, it's dry.
Because my dad likes it fucking well-ass fucking done till it's leather. And I'm sitting there eating it. I'm like, steak sauce. I can't eat this shit without something. And then I go to like an actual fucking steak restaurant. I'm like, yeah, give me a medium rare or some shit when I'm with friends or whatever. And I eat it and I'm like, what the fuck?
If my steak hasn't left juice on the plate,
what's the point?
Yeah, what's the point? Like when I cut into it, if it doesn't,
that's why you're supposed to mix with your veggies.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Veggies are meant to mop that up.
Well, the fries too, when you would eat it, or like your mashed potatoes,
bread.
like that's extra. Yeah,
I know, but people are like, I want my plate dry, and I want to cut it through it. When I cut through the steak, I want to hear it saw through.
All right,
like
Ben Shapiro with your fucking steak. My steak is supposed to be dry. That's what I read up on and was told.
My wife told me all steaks are dry.
Yeah. If your steak is wet,
It's a medical condition.
then you have an issue.
You need to check your grill. It's not cooking correctly.
Fucking hell.
Call a technician.
Technician.
Oh.
I hate everybody.
I love steak though. That'll be my last meal. If I ever get one.
You think?
Oh yeah, steak is definitely like top of the list. It's the perfect meal. Like it's the best cut of meat.
Yeah, I mean,
I eat chicken way more than I eat steak. Like red meat, obviously as I get older I eat way more chicken than I've ever eaten.
Yeah.
But steak is just so good.
if you're gonna give me steak as the last meal, I'd like to request to cook it.
Fair. That's
kind
fair.
of where I'm at is I would like to have it in my hands. I know what I like and I know what I can do.
I mean, yeah, like I want it as a last meal, but my second request is going to be, can I cook it as well?
I'll tell you what, next time you guys go through Indy, you should pick me up some St. Elmo's seasoning because it is the bomb.
Why don't you just come, motherfucker?
Because there's a gas shortage and I'd have to drive 12 hours.
Are you dealing with a gas shortage in
Not in Kansas, but as I get closer to you, I would be.
I don't think we've hit it yet. So
yeah, our gas
I have plenty
is
of protein in my
expensive.
diet, so there's not a gas shortage in my house.
Like our gas is $3.49 right now.
Shit.
For premium. For premium.
Oh yeah, you're talking about premium.
Okay, 1%. You deal with your premium.
Can't help it. That's what the car takes. Doesn't your car take premium, Eric?
No.
Oh, I thought you were saying my car was
that
like
was
the
one of the
drives
upgrades when I
on what
went
it
from the
gets.
Maxima to the Altima. Is that I dropped from premium to regular.
Yeah, shit.
That's one of the reasons that you can't talk me
60 cents
going
more.
back into a Maxima is because not only is it $20,000 more, the gas over a year is like $1,000 more.
What do you
That's
drive
a
these days,
fucking
Ryan? You still
mistake.
driving the Fuckus?
The Fuckus, dude. I've had it since I was a senior in high school. That shit is going until it. The other day, there was a pipe.
Apparently, he's not getting a new car because there's a semiconductor shortage. So
yeah, that's we're just not getting it, guys. But literally, I was driving and I heard something scraping. I was like, "What the fuck is that?" There was a metal piece that was screwed in. The whole fucking piece, screw and everything attached, just broke off, and a pipe's dragging. And I'm like,
Rust?
God damn it!
Rusted it?
Yeah, dude, it's rusted as shit.
Getting close.
Hey, it's still driving. It's still going.
The crazy thing is used car sales are up like 10%. Like the price of cars are up like 12% for used cars or something like that.
Listen, until that Fuckus explodes on me, we drive in it.
Ford Fuckus.
Point A to point B.
I'll never forget the day that you were over at Eric's apartment and I watched you pull up in that thing and literally DBZ cars just fell out of your door panel. Yeah. Like just all over the concrete. I was like, what is this who is this person?
Who is this?
Why does he have?
Who is this lovely man?
So many DBZ cars in his car. Loose. They must have been just terrible cars. You're just like, I don't want these in the door panel.
In the door panel with you?
No holographic Charizards in that pack.
No, never.
What's your next car gonna be? Let's presume that like the semiconductor shortage is short. And what is your next realistic car going to be?
They don't make the Focus anymore, so you can't say that.
I was gonna get the Focus. I was gonna get a Subaru sedan of some kind.
Like a WRX?
I don't know. I haven't looked. I'm not a car person, so I'm barking up the wrong tree.
Well, they don't make that many sedans.
Right, but I mean, like Taylor has a Subaru Forester, and that car is based. It just works really well. So I was like, Subaru is probably good.
Yeah. They're good until the head gasket goes out.
Like all I give a shit about is does it get me to point A to point B? Everything else is sure.
Bro, you should buy a Brodozer. I think it'd be really funny if you had like some super lifted truck. Like roll coal on the noobs.
You're banned.
Yeah, they stopped making the
Just
Focus
done.
though, dude. What are you gonna get? You gonna get the Mach-E?
I don't know. I'm cool with where I'm at. I'm not rushing for anything.
Get you an electric car?
No.
I did have Courtney did send me she sent me like a TikTok the other day of this guy where she was like, this is why Teslas aren't cool. This guy like street parked his Tesla in Boston during the last winter storm of Boston, and he's like, stupid Tesla, I can't open my doors. I'm like, why are you street parking your Tesla?
Why are you a fuck ass?
What are you doing? Like, that's not the car. You don't buy that car if you don't have a garage.
Yeah.
Like, it's got to charge. I don't know. Rant
Damn,
over.
Damn.
Do you have dessert? Do you have dessert when you go to steakhouses?
Sometimes.
Because I think that cheesecake or creme brulee is the superior dessert choice.
I don't think you're wrong. I'm not really like too desserty myself.
I mean, I know Eric loves cheesecake, so it's a solid.
Well, like I go out for steak like once a year now, and that's basically with family.
Yeah.
So
well, it was when we went to Gen Con for St. Elmo's, but it's
I never went to St. Elmo's.
Have you never been? No, you have not, because you're a fuck ass.
How is St. Elmo's? Is it amazing? Tell me about it.
It's good.
Set the scene.
I like it. It's my favorite steak place, but like Gordon Ramsay's place in Vegas really fucking had me trying.
Because St. Elmo's seasoning is like, it's probably my favorite steak seasoning.
Like I went to in Cincinnati, there's a place called Boco a few weeks ago, and like the food there was amazing. I mean, my bill was like $120 walking out, and I did not eat a lot of food, but what I had was amazing. It's just really difficult for me to justify that amount of money. Like I don't even like Longhorn anymore because it's like you get a
real
steak.
Salty.
Well, it's not that. You get a steak, 2 sides, and it's $28, and I'm like, I can go get 2 pounds of ribeyes for $20, spend the other $8 on fries and broccoli, and I have like 4 fucking meals.
Yeah. Have either of you ever had a Brazilian steakhouse?
Yeah,
no,
there was a place
there's
by
one to the
us.
south.
There's one near Cincinnati.
Yeah, there was one close to us that burned down, but we went there for like high school dances a few times, and we loved it. But it burned down.
Oh my gosh!
Like,
when me and Courtney went to Jamaica, they had a Brazilian steakhouse on the resort. We ate there 3 nights. Like, oh my gosh, man, they're so good.
That's so
like
funny.
if you like meat, that is the restaurant to go to.
Oh yeah. So was it the same one that you went to? They literally had skewers of shit.
Yeah,
and they just come by and cut your shit.
Yeah, they just come by. They're like, "Would you like lamb? Would you like steak? Would you like ribeye? Would you like this? Would you like this? Would you like this?"
Yeah, and you would tell the motherfucker, "How dare you insult me by asking?"
Yeah, like, and the funny thing is, like, the first time you go, like, "Oh yeah, let me go get some sides and let me go to the salad bar and get all this stuff," and you don't realize that when they come by, they don't give you like a piece of meat. They give you like a portion. Yeah. So like every time you ask for something, you're getting like a full portion. They're not stingy, but it's like $45 a person to get in the door.
Yeah.
But whoa, it's good.
It's worth it. Like it's one of those things. Like me myself, I hate going out, but like I'll do that every once in a while. Fuck it. It's just worth it.
I think Outback makes a better steak than Longhorn.
I love Longhorn. I'm biased, so I can't talk shit about it.
I really like Outback.
I think Outback shit, but that's me.
It's fair. I don't like Texas that much. People love Texas Roadhouse. I don't think their steaks are that good.
Yeah, I went there once and it was pretty good.
Like they have good sides, stuff like that, but I don't think their steaks are best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Texas Roadhouse has the best bread.
Oh yeah, that's why it's 300 calories a roll.
Yeah,
but it's amazing. Like,
yeah, I mean, I would venture to say if you look at the other breads, they're up there.
So would you say that Texas Roadhouse's bread is better than Red Lobster's bread?
No,
Cheddar Bay biscuit.
It's like that's a different.
I can tell you the last time I went to Texas Roadhouse and had their bread. I couldn't tell you the last time I went to Red Lobster.
Well, I don't go to Red Lobster either, but I'm saying like last time I had a Cheddar Bay biscuit, good biscuit. It's like saying like it's like going to Popeyes and Bojangles. You know, like they both have bread, but one of the breads is much better than the other.
Yeah.
Technically, they both have biscuits, but just saying. Well, do you guys want to call it a night?
I think it's good. I think we had a good conversation.
Food. Talked about food for 30 minutes.
Let me tell you, you talk to a dieting dude who loves food, about food, man, you can get me going for days.
I like food.
Food. Alrighty. Well, with that, thank you guys so much for joining us for the Gamer Side Quest. Yeah, I'm dying.
Foodcast.
Foodcast. Thank you guys for joining the Gamer Side Quest podcast. And wherever you may be, however you may be listening, have a great rest of your day, morning.
You guys are going to talk about your weeks?
Oh.
I mean, I know one of you streaming this week.
Yeah. Ryan.
My week's fucked, man. I'm doing too many fucking Zooters this week. And I don't even like a portion of them I'm doing at certain settings I just don't fucking like. And I don't know why I signed up for it, but I'm doing it. I'm just livid. There's just so much shit I'm doing.
I played Subnautica last week because it finally got released, and I plan on finishing it this week.
Good.
I don't
Mass
stream,
Effect?
so I don't.
Mass Effect?
Oh yeah,
That's
Mass
not-
Effect.
I don't know if I'll get to it this week. Like,
No.
trying to platinum Nier is just taking too long. Like,
That's fair.
upgrading all the weapons is what's ridiculous.
You were saying that. You said that while we were hanging out. You're like, hey, you working on that? Because I have
Not
put
only
a lot
that,
of hours
but,
into
like-
8 weapons out of 30.
So I there was a part where I just kind of was frustrated that I couldn't get it. Like, so in the DLC, there's 3 chapters, 5 levels per chapter.
Yeah.
And on the third set, I couldn't get out of the first level. And to be
Right.
fair, like the DLC is like, you should be level 35 for this. I'm level 34. And I was like, okay, well, I'm a level off. This shouldn't be a big deal. And I couldn't even get out of the first part. I dropped it from the hardest difficulty to fucking normal and aced all of it. And I realized that, like,
so bullshit.
things that were taking me 10 shots to kill on hard were 2 shots on normal. And I was like, this is ridiculous. So I might just finish it out on normal just to grind. Because, like, the problem is that you have to grind the materials and kill enemies to do it. And if it takes me 5 times as long to kill one enemy and I have to do hundreds of them, it's just so much more time invested for what? An achievement on Steam. So I'll probably finish all the grinding on normal and then go back to hard. Because I have to have, well, I don't have to have the weapons completely upgraded. I just have to have all of them. And I have all but one.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm at the point now I can, like, finish out the main story for Route B and then play C, D, and finally E.
Yeah.
And yeah, Mass Effect, but, like, I know that once I start Mass Effect, that's like 3 months.
Fair.
Like, Mass Effect's just not one of those games you're going to grind in a weekend and call it. Number 1 has 2 separate endings. Although, to be fair, like, if you save at the right point towards the end, you can fix those too. Number 2 has way too many different variables, and then there's 3. And apparently they didn't fix what I wanted them to fix with 3. So I don't know if I'm gonna do it. Maybe I should. I want to, but I thought that they were gonna make a definitive canon ending to 3, and they chose not to with the remaster.
Yeah.
So I already know what the ending is. Like, I think I'll play 1 for sure because it's very different than what it was when I first played it. But 2 and 3 are basically graphic updates. Yeah, I mean, because I'm buying all 3, so I might as well just play them once.
Right.
Yeah.
But I also have to install Origin for that, and I don't really know if I just want to deal with Origin again.
Gross. I am looking forward to. I'm trying to find a point to jump back into World of Warships as well. Rank season's coming out, I think, next week. I might do that.
You should do it. That'd be fun.
We should finish A Way Out. Oh wait, Eric installed it.
That game was terrible. It was awful.
Did you know, I liked watching it. I don't think I would have liked playing it.
God, did I stream that?
Yeah, I thought you streamed part of it.
Oh my gosh, it was so terrible, Ryan.
I mean, it was clearly a young, small studio's first foray.
Like I said, I would love to play.
And you can tell that like they didn't have really any of EA's influence.
I would love to play the new one with someone.
Does that require EA?
I told you can play it for free since I own it.
I know. Does it require
It Takes Two?
No, it's Steam.
Oh, then yeah, I'll just download it at some point tonight.
Yeah, you can just go in there and it says like there's 2 options. You can either buy the game or download it to be able to play with the person who already owns it.
I mean, that's another game that like it's a sub-studio of EA that EA has let run with it.
Yeah. From what I played, I only played the first probably 30 minutes of it. It was good.
I am curious if EA does that for another year plus.
Who knows?
Maybe. I mean, they're trending in the right direction at least.
I was thinking about Courtney flies out on Thursday, so I was thinking about depending on how my work week goes, I took Thursday, Friday off because I need to burn some vacation. I might stream. I don't know. Maybe that'll be when I try to get back into it.
You should do it this weekend, and then because you have a 4-day next weekend, do it again.
Yeah.
Like I said, just gives me the chance to do it. Like I'll play ships no matter what. So
I mean, it's not like you're burning any calories in that Peloton.
shots fired.
You could fucking do the Ryan, move it into your room, and
that's true. That's true.
No, the Peloton has just been like, you ever have one of those weeks where it's like it's there, and like I forced myself to get onto it on Sunday.
Yeah.
Like I was like, you just have to do it. Like I just have one of those weeks where I'm tired and I didn't want to do it.
That's every time I go to the gym.
So I just forced myself to do it yesterday, and then I took today off because I never do it 2 days in a row because it's awful. I'll do it tomorrow.
That's funny.
Trust me, a 3-1 schedule sucks ass.
Yeah.
Like tomorrow's my 3rd day on the elliptical, and then like my feet are already like, dude, we're not doing this tomorrow. And the brain's like, sorry, body, but I've made the decision. Bad stuff's happening to you.
And that's the thing about the bikes is it's a lot of quads. Your quads, they're such a big muscles. When they finally get sore, it takes a long time for them to not be sore.
You should probably do a hot bath.
Probably.
Oh my god, do a hot bath.
Hot Epsom salt bath will loosen you up.
Probably.
You like the thing for recovery is that like you either have to do a hot bath or an ice bath, and not many people in their own homes can do an ice bath.
Or what I want to.
No, I mean that's a whole different discussion. You can't, but whether or not you'd want to.
I'm the weird one. I like my shower extremely hot. Like
I don't think that makes you weird. Most people do.
No, I from what I understand as a man, most men don't like their showers extremely hot. Like my wife is always like, "Why do you like the water so hot?" I don't know. I like it literally where there's like steam in the shower with me.
Yeah, of course. I love my showers. Blistering cold because I'm a manly man.
Yeah, if you're not
big pee. That's me.
I need to shrink my penis down.
Yeah, the cold water helps me control my massive hog. And, just if it's not blistering cold, then I'll never
Bro, I can't take a cold shower. I want that
Neither
shit
can
hot.
I. What a fucking masochist.
Hot.
The only time I take it, like I took it after football sometimes because it was like I couldn't get an ice bath and I was like, I just need to cool my body down and like
that's different when you're warm. But like, a cold shower is amazing.
Right, but I never fucking do that.
You're not the Navy SEAL that wakes up at 4 a.m. and takes an ice cold shower and then runs 5 miles and takes another ice cold shower.
Yeah. Like I said, massive hog, like, huge dick. Just
I watched that video. He's like, yeah, that's the success to life. Wake up at 4 a.m., take an ice cold shower. Fuck off.
I have a comment, but it's not safe for streams. So I'm just
get fucked. I'm not waking up at 4 a.m. and getting in a cold shower. Top of the list of things I'm not doing. That.
I want to hear what Eric has to say, so let's end this bitch. And then
you've already done your going away thing, so
I did the going away thing. So have a good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us in the Gamer Side Quest, and we will catch y'all on the next one.
Peace. See you next week.
Bye.